Coming to you in the evening, even though this is a Monday meditation, evening evidence by the lights behind me. Schedule has been off a little bit this week, so we're just catching up. So to get us back on track a little bit, we've been exploring the idea of senses, sensations in the body, connecting to those senses in a way that doesn't judge, but allows them to be there. We're going to move on a little bit from that, building on that with the idea of connecting to our body. In a couple of the other sessions, we've been talking a little bit about what a lack of connection does to us, a lack of awareness for our embodied self, and some of the things, the difficulties that can come from that. That's the focus for this evening. There's a couple of things I wanted to read as a precursor to that. This is from the writings of the Buddha. There is one thing that, when cultivated and regularly practiced, leads to deep spiritual intention, to peace, to mindfulness and clear comprehension, to vision and knowledge, to a happy life here and now, and to the culmination of wisdom and awakening. And what is that one thing? It's mindfulness centered in the body. There's another one in the book I'm reading. It's just under that, and I think it's wonderful too. So I want to read you that one as well. If the body is not cultivated, the mind cannot be cultivated. If the body is cultivated, then the mind can be cultivated. So what does that mean? Well, I think, especially based on or linked to the first one, that means that part of our meditation experience has to be an embodied sense, has to come into the body and not just be in our mind and our thoughts. And so that means building on what we've already done, cultivating this sense of connection and belonging in the body. Now, if you've watched the other Monday meditations, one of the things that we've talked a bit about is the disconnect that happens, that a lot of us live from here up, and that's where we're the strongest, and that's where we experience life and everything else. And that cuts us off from the wisdom, our inner wisdom, our wisdom of the body, our wisdom of connection to the body. What's important to that, and I think it bears being brought up again and again, is that without a connection to the body, there isn't a sense of belonging. So if we don't even inhabit our physical self, it's really hard to be connected to our community, to the people around us. If we're not aware of this, then we don't have the bigger connection. And going back to one of the quotes, I think if we're not aware of this, then neither this nor this can be at peace, or can be in a place where we can meet others well, in a healthy relationship, in a healthy way. So that's where I think those quotes are connected and how they apply to this teaching. So let that resonate a little bit while you settle into your space. Finding a chair, laying down on the bed is fine, as long as you can stay alert enough to do this process. Standing is fine. For those of you new to this, just a reminder, or not a reminder, just know that you can keep your eyes open or closed, holding what's called a soft gaze, where sort of you look down at something and look through it, is just fine. So let yourself settle into presence. The presence of your body being supported by whatever chair you're in. The presence of support you receive as you lean into the sense of your feet on the ground. Or if you're standing, listening to this, feel the weight of your body in the balls, in the toes, in the heels of your feet. Bring forward a sense of being held, being supported, leaning into the idea that we have support around us. We are being held. Feeling your breath, the inhale and the exhale, the rising and falling of your chest. No need to change what's happening. Just be with what is. And as you're sensing yourself, as you're sensing your breath, just take note of what came with you. What have you brought from where you were before that's still haunting about your body? And whether it's tiredness or stress, whether you just rushed in from work or getting ready to go, let yourself deepen into a sense of calm or sense of groundedness with each breath you take. And if there's some spots that need a little extra, maybe breathe into those areas. Let the sensation expand. And then exhale. And take a few breaths there as you continue to ground and to get a sense of where you are in this moment. I invite you to let your attention drop down into your feet and your ankles and your lower legs. Being present with what is, an active, kind attention, a curiosity to see what's there. And let yourself, in whatever way it shows up for you, engage in connection, moving from observer of the sensations and the senses there, move into the idea of reawakening to your legs, the lower legs and feet and ankles. With the intention of connection, with an air of compassion. How do you rekindle that relationship with your lower legs and your feet? Rekindle with the aliveness and the inner wisdom. And then let your attention come up to the knees and the thighs, into the hips. And sit here for a second as well with active curiosity and kindness, leaning into what's there in the senses. What have you brought with you in your body in this moment? And without trying to change or judge anything that's there, and however it works for you, send intention of reconnecting to this area. Maybe there's a color or a sense of movement that allows the idea of reconnection or the feeling of reconnection to this part of your body. And as your attention is in your legs, your thighs, your hip area, what's it feel like to be connected to this part of your body again? Or maybe to be connected in a different way. Bringing attention to anything that could be a barrier to connection, because that might be here too. And if it is, just welcome it. We're practicing approaching what presents with kindness and grace and compassion. If you're feeling yourself unable to really connect to this area, that's okay. That doesn't mean you won't be able to reconnect with it at another time or connect in a different way. So taking a breath and allowing that breath to transport you to your lower belly, your pelvic floor, all the way up to, say, the bottom of your rib cage. Again, being with what's here, noticing with kind attention what is present. If there's any tension, maybe looking to soften the belly, soften the reaction of bringing your attention to this area. And as you breathe into and have presence with your pelvic floor and your belly up to your rib cage, what's your sense of what's needed here to either reconnect or to connect in a different way that allows you to feel, to be embodied in this part of your physical space? Maybe there's a flow of movement. Maybe there's a song that springs to mind. What is your connection to this lower part of your belly? And how do you stay connected to the inner wisdom that this area provides? And taking a breath and allowing your attention to shift up into your rib cage, going all the way up to shoulders, down to the arms and into the hands. And again, bringing kind attention, bringing awareness to what you're noticing in this area. Without trying to change what's here. Following your breath into the space and bringing your attention and focus. And allowing your inner wisdom and intuition to guide you. What is needed to be able to connect in a different way or reconnect to this part of your body? What is needed? What does it look like? For some, it might feel like a gathering of energy. It might feel like a knitting back together. Or it might feel like you can't quite get there. And again, holding everything that shows up We have space for everything that's here without judgment, just allowing. And just take a moment to notice the sense of connection that you have from your toes into your feet, into your ankles, up your lower legs to your knees, your thighs, to your pelvic region and your belly, and now into the chest. Feeling a sense of your inner wisdom, a sense of the body and the connection to it. And with this next breath, I invite you to bring your attention up to the top of the shoulders, the neck, the back of the head, and into the face. Again, just bringing presence, a sense of exploration and curiosity to what's here. Breathing into areas that maybe need a little extra support right now. And letting your inner wisdom guide you again to how you may shift your connection, increase your connection, or create a connection. Not a thinking space, but a felt space with your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Explore what's there. Notice what happens when you start to bring attention to this. Maybe you become aware of the bigger sense of self that this last piece has added, from the toes all the way up to the top of the head. Reconnecting or establishing a different level of connection, whatever it is that showed up for you. Taking a moment to bring awareness from the toes all the way up to the head. Imagining the color that shows up with your connection. Imagining the texture or the sense of feeling when you intend to be present in your body more. What is that like? What does it sound like? What taste has shown up? What feeling or flow is there? Maybe you've become aware of the flow of your own internal processes, like your blood or your air, moving freely throughout the body. And maybe it's important to bring a distinction between what you think you might feel and really leaning into what's there. Sometimes we still get caught up in the thought versus the feeling. And just let yourself live in this moment with this breath. And now this breath. This deepening sense of self. This deepening whole-bodied presence. And the growing relationship that you're creating with the different parts of you, different parts of the body. Knowing that you can always come back to the sense of self. by simply leaning into the areas of your space that maybe need more attention. And take a minute to send gratitude, to send compassion to all areas, to all parts. And let yourself be in that space, that embodied space of gratitude and compassion for as long as it seems important. And then when you're ready, bring your attention back to your space. Many thanks. Have a beautiful day.